Hey, this is Joel Oney at J Money in the heart of the Buckeye State, and I want to personally welcome you to today's episode of the Steel Kings podcast with my good friends Jared Ledford and Eric Olson, better known as the Steel Kings. Be sure to check out jmoneyllc.com for financing solutions for your buildings. And now let's get back to the Steel Kings podcast.
What I'll tell you, dude, is I am beyond excited. I am Jared Ledford. It is time to get motivated about your business. It's time for some personal development. It's time to get out and shake and howdy with people. I can tell you, man, the Steel Kings are. Dude, we have been busy.
One thing, I mean, if I could say one statement about the Shed Show is that people need direct help from on-market questions.
I'm Jared. He's Eric. We are the Steel Get out in your communities, everybody, and do something good for somebody else. It'll make you feel better. Helps if I unmute you guys. Hey, what's up, guys? This is Jared, and this is the Steel Kings podcast. Welcome to another episode with me this week. Eric is out on assignment, so I am going to be riding this one solo. But we're going to jump right into it. As always, big thank you and shout out to the guys over at J Money. If you need any help with your marketing and financing needs, getting on those steel buildings, getting on those roofs, getting on those pools, the financing help comes from the folks at J Money. They will help you out. To find SEO for all your marketing needs, check out the folks at VersaBend. If you are still bending tubular steel the old-fashioned way, give Wendell and his team a call over at VersaBend, and they will help you out. Check out the folks at Cal. They got the order management system. They've got all the tools necessary to be successful. Check out Cal. We're going to jump right into it, guys, as always. Another week down, another week towards the holidays. I hope you guys are doing well. As we start getting into the Thanksgiving rush, the Christmas rush, just joking, it's slowing down, right? You guys are getting ready to eat turkey and ham and all those special things. I wanted to bring somebody on today to talk about when things get overwhelming, when things start to feel like they're getting to be too much and you're starting to feel that burnout. You know, you're starting to feel a little bit overwhelmed. Things are slowing down, right? I mean, I feel it. You know, it's November. People are not necessarily in the carport buying, shed buying, pole barn buying spirits when they're getting ready to drop, several bills at the holidays, especially around Christmas time. So I wanted to bring on a special guest today, and we're going to bring her on. It is Carly Pepin. She is a super interesting person. I did an interview a peel behind the curtain. You guys want to know how we do this. So I do a pre-interview with all of our guests and we talk about what somebody can bring to the table. And I thought what Carly brought to the table was super valuable. She is an international speaker. She's a consultant. She specializes and focuses on leadership and scaling businesses and really looking at human behaviors and principles and growth strategies. It doesn't matter what our backgrounds are. She works with just about everybody, but she has devoted her life to mastering the intricacies of human behavior. And I think that she has the knowledge that we need to hear right now going into the slowest time of the year, because what we need right now is we need that extra motivation. We need that extra leg up. And she's going to talk to us today about staying in our lane, making sure that we maintain focus, and I can't wait to bring her in. I'm going to bring her in now. Carly Pepin is here. How are you today, Carly?
Thank you for having me. I'm good.
Yeah,
thank you for having me, Jared.
Yeah. Welcome to the Steel Kings podcast. Yeah, we've been looking forward to this for about a week now. We've been trying to get schedules put together. I probably didn't do the very best job of introducing you, so if you want to take the time now, introduce yourself to the listeners and viewers, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, no, thank you. It was also excellent. I appreciate it. But super simple. So I'm a business coach and I also am a human behavior specialist. So to me, the two and two go hand in hand. Whenever we're building our business, we're also building ourselves. So just being able to, like you said, get through the overwhelm, the burnout, the other emotions that can really take over our day-to-day in business can be really helpful. And then just diving into the business strategy as well. That just helps us to grow and maintain and build what we love to build. Mm-hmm.
I think specifically for us, so we were talking a little bit before we started the podcast, right, about we're in the industry of selling sheds, metal buildings, and pole barns. That's specifically the audience you're talking to today. And it gets to a point where there's probably 7 or 8 months of the year that I would consider to be a peak season, right?
Mhm.
Probably starting around March and ending sometime in October. We still, we always can trickle in sales November, December, January, and February, but that March to October tends to be kind of the focal point for most of our listeners.
Mhm.
We talked a little bit about when burnout begins. Can you tell us about how you interact with different leaders in different organizations and different people in different industries to focus on how to counteract burnout on the onset?
For sure. Yeah. So when we think about burnout doesn't actually occur because we're working too hard or we're doing too much. So if you think about the things that you love doing the most, right? Something that really inspires you. And I sat you down and said, you're going to do this all day long. Do you have the energy for it? You'll be like, yeah, of course. Not only do I have the energy for it, but I feel like I can create energy simultaneously while I'm doing it because I love it so much. And no matter how tired I am, I'm just going to keep going, right? So it's a really interesting dynamic to see us as humans and what we can actually do. And the truth is that when we burn out, it's not because, again, we're doing too much. We're doing too much of what we don't actually enjoy, what doesn't inspire us, the things that are not fulfilling and have no meaning attached to it according to like what's important to us. So that's why it's really important, like when we think about burnout, I like to work with someone and lay out how they're spending their day, right? Like, what are the things that you spend your day on? And when I look at what they spend their day on, it's like, okay, well, what are the things that you don't need to be doing that you can delegate, right? These low end kind of jobs, tasks that are unnecessary for you to be doing, because it's usually I'm working with like the founders or C suite executives and stuff and owners. And
Sure.
so they can delegate a bunch of stuff. And then also on there, it's like there might be something you don't want to delegate, maybe something that is technically considered on the lower scale of the job and a lower pay scale than you're getting, but also something you love, right? Like I was working with specifically a roofer, right? And we were looking at, as he's building a company, he's delegating more and more. And one of the things that he just doesn't love to delegate is he really likes when customers have big problems, he'll go in and he loves talking to the customer and fixing it. So you might get like a C-suite executive at your house one day, if you're in Texas, basically solving a pretty minute problem of one person on $1,000 job, like as low as that.
Sure.
He'll go out and do that because he loves it so much. So if it's a low value item, but you love it so much, I do not suggest getting rid of it. That's something that you can keep on board. But for a low value item that you don't love, it's like toss it off the plate. So I know that that particular individual, he'll go and he'll spend time with that customer. And when he's done, he feels energized. He doesn't feel like I had to go do that. That was a waste of time. He's like, yeah, I got to go do it. And it was so fun. And the customer got this and that. We solved the problem. And then my guys learned this and that. And he'll go through the story of how amazing that experience was, right? He's energized by it. But someone who doesn't enjoy that, it's wisdom to delegate those things because you're not energized by it. So it's really paying attention to what you're doing every day, what's truly meaningful to you, because the things that are not, you're going to feel drained. You're going to say, I have to do this. I need to, I should, instead of just being like, no, 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 I really love doing that. I want to.
I think that that's a super high level note for people in this industry specifically, because what I find a lot on my particular, let's talk about my particular task list. There are certain things in my day that I have a hard time delegating that I probably should. And I think really sitting down, so I talk to my guys and gals about like A1, A2, B1, B2 priorities, trying to balance all of those in a specific day. And I think for those of us out there, specifically on the manufacturing side of things, if you're sitting in a seat and you're the owner of a company, there are probably some things that you could afford to not be doing that are draining your utility. And that's kind of what you're focusing on here, is finding the why behind what you're doing in the first place. If you've built your business from the ground up and you've gone from the smallest of small to a medium size, maybe you're on the cusp of being a big size company, you have to start delegating those tasks to those underneath of you to make them better at what they do, so you can be better at what you do. Is that kind of a fair top down assessment?
Yeah, and for sure. Also, hire someone who's better at you than you're at the job.
Yeah.
Like, make sure you're hiring someone
Yeah.
who's really like amazing at it. You want to hire someone that can replace you. So hire the best of the best for that particular
Yeah.
position. And remember as well, like if you're hiring the best of the best, they probably are going to love what they do. You don't become amazing at what you do without loving it. And so that
Yeah.
very thing that's draining your energy, that's sucking you dry, is going to fuel someone else. And that's what you're
Yeah.
looking for as well. Because if you
Yeah.
just put someone in there that's mediocre and doesn't really like the job, you just have another you in a different form that's disengaged and burnt out. You want the person who's really good at it, way better than you, replaces you in that position, and simultaneously like really loves their job, because they'll show up every day and they're going to be like, I can't wait to do the very thing that you despise. And they'll never want to
Yeah.
touch what you do, by the way, because that's your thing.
Yeah.
That's what you love.
Yeah, I think that hiring the right people definitely plays into the success of a business. That's no doubt. But I think that
Mhm.
what you said holds really a high level of weight with me. We interviewed Darren Wallen, who's the owner of Stormore Outdoor Products, a few months ago at this point, and he was talking to us about one of the biggest pet peeves that he have is one of the biggest pet peeves I have when I talk to partners or other people in the same industry as me, and I say, what's your biggest challenge? And they say someone's name, so and so. If I could get so and so to do this better, or if so and so would do this task better, and ultimately, if you're the owner or the CEO or the boss, that person answers to you. So
Mhm.
why are you not taking care of that problem right now? You're actually, the one task you should be doing is fixing that relationship. And that, I mean, I can tell you,
Mhm.
when you have problems with staff, that's a huge reason for burnout, I would imagine. When you have
Yeah.
issues with staff not being able to do the things that they say they're going to do, I would imagine that's a problem, right? I mean, that's a pretty big
100%.
problem. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. And I think it's like what you're saying is definitely very pertinent. One of the core things to really start with in your company is the hiring process, because once
Yep.
you have someone in, it takes so long to train people and it takes so long to get them on board. It's very
Yep.
hard for people to let them go, because it's a timely and expensive process. And so we're
That's
not
right.
just like not letting them go because we hold on to things. Like, we're not letting him go because of the time and money it takes to get that one
Yep.
person in there. So the more that you
Yep.
refine the hiring process, the less likely that you're going to have to pull someone on board that you have to fire, right? And because I do understand
Yeah.
that that's very difficult. When you think about hiring someone, there's the dynamic of making sure that they're a good fit for the job, and really make sure they're a good fit for the job. If you have to do multiple interviews, do multiple interviews. If there's multiple owners in a company, I suggest like having them do hour interviews with each person. Everyone's going to ask different questions. Everyone's going to
Yep.
understand them a bit differently. And the more time you spend with them, the more you'll get to know the person, because you're not just interviewing for them the job, but also the culture of the company. Because every
Sure.
company it's like this living, breathing entity, and it functions different. So if you bring someone on board that isn't in alignment with the culture, like they're really going to struggle making their way into the company, and they still won't be a match. They could
Yeah.
be the best person on the planet and they're not going to be a match. So really being so particular when you hire. And sometimes it's like we think, oh, well, maybe I won't find anyone and maybe it'll be really hard, and like there's just not enough people. People thrive in work environments where the culture is very strong and like really fine tuned, and they seek those places out. People who have amazing cultures have so many applicants that are above and beyond phenomenal. They can't even accept them all. So when I say
Yeah.
focus on making sure you protect that culture, make sure you protect it, because in the beginning, it might be a little bit trickier to find people, but later on, you want to be that company where people are like knocking down the door, because again, that's the
Yeah.
first step to just make sure later on you're not dealing with as much of this, like this person won't work, this person won't do that. It also does happen. So it's also about fueling inspiration, right? So like one of
Yeah.
the individuals that I'm working with, again, we're working on getting one of the individuals backing up and inspired in the company, because he was great. He used to do really well, but he's kind of lost traction, right? So we're working on getting him inspired again. But part of that as well is really cool, because you get to work with the culture of the company. It's like, how are things being shared with the company? Do Do your employees know what the vision is? Do they know where they're going? Do they know why they wake up and do what they do every day? Is it just beyond the job? The more that you can share that with them, the more that they connect with that, then they'll feel more inspired and more fueled by what they're doing. Because sometimes we do lose sight of it, but it's not just their job to think of that on a daily basis. It's like, how do you incorporate that into your company and culture, that you're reminding them on a daily basis of the bigger purpose and reason behind what you do?
Introducing ShedHub, your ultimate shed marketplace. Are you in the shed business and looking to connect with more buyers? Look no farther than ShedHub. ShedHub is a game-changing two-sided marketplace that brings shed sellers and buyers together in one easy-to-use platform. Think of it as the Amazon of sheds. ShedHub isn't just any ordinary marketplace. It's a powerhouse that ranks on the first page of Google's search results in 91% of U.S. cities. With over 1.2 million impressions on our website last month alone, ShedHub is where you want to be to showcase your sheds to a wider audience. And here's the best part. For a limited time, you can join our exclusive Next 500 plan for just $39 per month. Simply head over to geek.shedhub.com to sign up and start attracting more shoppers to your shed listings. As the Shed Geek, I am here to endorse ShedHub and invite you to join me on this journey to boost your shed business. Whether you're struggling with website visibility or simply want more eyes on your product, ShedHub has got you covered. Don't miss out on this opportunity to supercharge your shed sales. Visit geek.shedhub.com today and make your mark in the shed industry with ShedHub.
We've talked about defining mission statements and core values and how important that is for a business that's starting out. And just because you're not a new business doesn't mean if you don't have a mission statement and core values, go back and address that and set them in stone and make sure that everyone works in agreement. I talk a lot about being in one accord and really being in agreement with one another. We talk about that a lot on the podcast because I feel like that's the biggest struggle is, and you wrote this down, when you're doing everyone else's job, no one's doing yours. And what you find is that if you haven't defined that core value, that mission statement, and then you haven't defined to each employee what their core task is to better the betterment of the entire organization, right? And in this case, if you're a shed manufacturer and you have a hauler, for example, that's not doing the best work that he can do, and it's log jamming the process, whether it be unloading, loading, whatever that process is, it's not your job to do anything other than correct and then maintain that correction. It's not your job to go out and to deliver the buildings. That's the thing we have to come, get over in our minds. We have to understand as the leaders of our businesses that we are responsible for the results of our employees and our partners. And we can't go fix every single problem. What I oftentimes found myself doing a year or two ago was I felt like I was in a boat that had leak holes, and I'd go around, I was trying to fix every single hole slowly but surely. And what you find is you can't fix all the holes yourself. You really have to work with the others, because if you've got 10 people in that same boat and they're managing one hole, their job is to manage that one hole, keep it spackled, keep it covered, keep it floating. That's the idea here, is that you are the one in control of the people on the boat. It's not your job to go do their job. That's a big part for me. I can tell you right now, if I have my staff optimized, doing the things that they're supposed to do, my stress level comes way down, because I can then focus on the growth agent or whatever it is. And you guys might not want to grow. You might be in a spot where you feel real comfortable with your current volume. It might just be a situation where, hey, you can actually leave on time. Leaving on time, arriving on time, rather than coming in early or staying late. I'm assuming that all plays into burnout, right? If you're working all the time, when you said working too much doesn't
Mm-hmm.
cause the burnout, but if you're working in a way that's not if you're working in a way that is not beneficial to you, that's basically
Mm-hmm.
what's going to cause burnout. Is that fair?
Basically, so if you're doing things like if you're doing something where you're getting to work early and it's not something that you want to do and you're like, I have to do this, I need to do this, I should do this. You haven't delegated something that's necessary to delegate, right? So I know that. But if you might work and get there early and leave late, but mainly because it's like I actually, if you wake up and say, I can't wait to get to work today, I actually want to like wake up a little bit earlier and get there earlier because I'm really looking forward to working on this problem or this challenge or this part of business, then I know that you're focused on things that truly matter to you that are going to energize you, right? So it definitely is important. And I think what's interesting too is we kind of, in the spirit of burnout, we're kind of like talking about burnout with us as like the micro, like us just individually, but also in the macro with employees. Because it's like you're
Yep.
saying, like if they're not engaged, your employees might also be burnt out. So it's
That's
now
right.
asking these quality questions of like, why are they burnt out? Why aren't they doing their job? Do I have a wrong hire? Am I not sharing?
Yeah.
Is there no connection to the culture and what they're doing? Are they not inspired? Are they overwhelmed? Like, do I not have
Yeah.
systems in place, structures? And so
Yep.
it's funny because it's like, I love how it kind of just dove into not just solving burnout for ourselves, but also for our employees because they are the thing that make you thrive.
Yeah.
Like, any
That's right.
successful business owner I've ever met just has so much gratitude for their employees. They say, "I can't do it
That's
without
right.
them. I can't do it without them."
Yeah. You're asking these people that could do anything in the world more often than not, especially when it comes to sheds, metal buildings, and pole barns. We're hiring people that have skill sets outside of those areas. And we're asking them to come and do a task for us every day. We're asking them to be there and be part of this and be in agreement with us to be successful and bring the business forward, whether that be getting revenue through sales, whether that be swinging a hammer, driving nails, building a shed, whether it's putting together a carport building, whether it's hauling material to a job site. There are so many things that go into the success of what makes our individual businesses, sheds, steel buildings, pole barns, all of that successful. I think that what I see a lot, and another thing you touched on in our pre-interview was burnout is often the consequence of being indispensable. And what I feel personally, for myself here at Dayton Barnes, or some of my guys at Five Rivers, or with the marketing, whatever it is, I feel like if I fell off the face of the earth, the businesses need to be successful and continue to operate in my absence. And I think that so many people that are listening to us right now, Carly, are struggling with that idea. If they
Mhm,
become indisposed, or for whatever reason become unavailable, now all of a sudden the business that they've built their lives building may not be there in the wake of that unavailability. Is that,
mhm,
I mean, that hits it on the head. I mean, that's why I come to work every day super motivated to do what I do, because I want to make the team around me better and make them get to a point, and a goal that we've said, and I've said this on the podcast, I want Dayton Barnes specifically to operate in my absence. My
mhm,
goal, my one goal, is for Dayton Barnes and all steel buildings to make sure that the employees get paid, that we get buildings sold, customers are happy. But I want Dayton Barnes to thrive on its own. I want the
mhm,
business to be able to absolutely do what it does in my absence all day, every day. And I think
mhm,
that that one motivating factor keeps me currently from burning out, no matter how
mhm,
hard I have to work. But again, it gets back to, you have to ask yourself why. Why are you doing it in the first place? Setting that
mhm,
goal, setting that mission statement. I mean, tell me a little bit more about being indispensable. Because I think
mhm,
that if you're a CEO, or you're the owner, you're the boss, you oftentimes feel like the business runs around you. And
mhm,
really, that's not, it shouldn't be that way.
mhm. It does and it doesn't, in essence. You like it will, but you also don't want it to. I completely agree with you. No matter what size your company is, I highly, highly suggest considering like how would you sell it? how would you sell your company? And the reason why it's really important to think about selling a company, even if you don't plan on selling it, it's going to make you focus on your cash flow. It's going to make sure that you're not just focused on, oh, I have revenue, right? Like profit, profit, profit. But like, what's your actual cash flow look like? Like, do you have liquidity? Like during the slow time, like, do you feel safe and secure? And do you have money to pull out constantly? Or are you stressed out and you're lower income during that time? Like, I really want to know the health of your business and the core of where it's at. Can you walk out the door? If you sold it, could someone else just take it over and have a successful company? Because remember, we don't just sell companies, we sell companies based on their valuation. And depending on the industry, you get X amount of the valuation. So this could be, your nest egg potentially. Like, do you just want to close the doors when you're ready to retire? Or do you want some extra influx of cash? Or do you want to pass it on to someone? Because even if you want to pass it on to someone, you can't hand them something that's only in your head. You have to hand over something that they can manage, that they can function. So no matter what you're planning on doing with the business, if you just want to shut it down and all this work, and I know how much work it takes to build a business, run a business, manage a business, grow a business. If you just want to shut it down and all that work you're doing right now, not get any like compound interest on it, you do it. That's fine. But I really invite you to appreciate what it takes for you to do what you do and consider an exit of some way, shape, or form part of the success of compound interest for you in this company, in this business, and part of that is making sure that it runs without you. Because the more it runs without you and the better you get at that, the amazing thing is the more that you have the opportunity one day to literally step out and pass it on to someone else. Again, whether you're selling it or whether you're passing it on to one of your kids, friends, anyone you want to. I talked to someone recently and they're actually passing it on to their employees, right? But he said it. He's like, I don't need to be here anymore. The business manages itself. So he's able to do that. Yeah. The other really important thing about that. Oh, go for it.
No, I think that's one of the core values in entrepreneurship, right? Is that you want to keep building things. The idea here is that when you're a true entrepreneur, you don't necessarily get stuck in one lane. You want to continue to broaden your horizons. You might want to take one business and turn it into 3 businesses. That's what Eric and I have been able to do now over the last 5 years. Is we've transitioned from a small shed lot, independent, one shed lot, to now we've had, at one point in time, we had a high of 4. Now we've started a marketing company. Now we're doing things with pole barns. It gives us additional verticals and avenues that we never would have expected otherwise, being in that entrepreneurial spirit. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you said, how do you want to leave your business behind? And again, if you become unavailable, whether it be by choice or by fate, at the end of the day, you want to know that what you're working for has a legacy. If you just want to close the doors up, maybe you do work open to close every day. Maybe you do hold the processes tight. Another thing you said that I really liked was your system should reduce stress, not increase it. And I think that this hits back to that point for sure, because we, as the owners, the business leaders, the managers, whatever, we're the ones who are developing these processes that are supposed to make our lives simple. And a lot of times we overstress on systems that could be done a lot simpler. And again, goes back to the delegation piece. And again, what I want you guys to notice about this conversation is it's kind of full circle. It's constantly the same kind of ask a question and get the same response. Find the why and then delegate. And from there, you'll determine whether or not where you are is where you want to be and where you want to go from there. I think that that's fair, right? I mean, I think that that's 30-second synopsis. Is that fair?
For sure. Yeah. And I'd love for people to realize too, like as a business owner, when you start to delegate, you don't actually become obsolete. Your job changes. And the way that it changes, it becomes very different. So you may start out just on the ground with hammer and nail, literally. You're that person. Then you're starting to hire those people, and then you're a manager, right? And now all of a sudden you become a leader because you're leading the managers who are now hiring those people who are hand and nail, right? Hammer and nail. And you keep moving up. You become a general manager, you become a regional manager, you become sometimes a statewide manager. I've talked to people who are now global managers, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden now you're a CEO. But everything that you're doing, you're actually still just as busy. You're just not holding the hammer and the nail anymore. You have a
That's right.
different hammer and a different nail, and you're usually thinking about the future of the company. You're thinking about the future of the business, what it looks like, what your next steps are. Are you guys innovating? You're solving these different, bigger problems. You might be collaborating with different people. Once you get to that point, you get to decide more of what you would love to do, which is part of the dynamic too, that business can give you this freedom to kind of focus on challenges that you really love. A lot of people don't like Donald Trump, and that's fine, but he's a great example for this. Donald Trump has made a significant quantity of wealth, and his personal decision was to focus on what he perceived were challenges in the United States and what he wants to help people with. Because he made so much money and he has given himself the freedom to run things the way that they run, he can step completely outside and be president of the United States. You can do whatever you want. That is a great example of just doing whatever you want. Jeff Bezos is now going into the space race, right? Like he's Amazon, but now he's in the space race. When I say, if you want to go and spend time with your kids and travel around the world and see everything, you do what you would love to do. But that's part of the benefit of basically getting all these things in order, that you're still a living, breathing, growing person. And whatever it is that inspires you most, like you get to do that, and your business gives you that freedom when you structure it in such a way that you can do that. And some people like to stay. Warren Buffett's still in his business. He's still chilling and hanging out and running that thing until the day he dies. You can do whatever you want to do if you build it in a way that it is stable and structured. And I think that's the most important thing for people to realize, is that it gives you a level of freedom and all that work you put in. By the way, this is your payoff. This is your payoff. And you
I like
it.
the compound interest. I like the compound interest. I like that idea, because to me, work hard now for what you want tomorrow. I mean, if you really work hard today, if you can delegate those tasks, again, from swinging a hammer and a nail to the CEO, your job changes with your skill set. The better you do at each individual task that you perform requires more on the opposite side if you really want to advance. I know a lot of folks who have started as a small-time manufacturer for a shed company and now own their own businesses manufacturing sheds, and they employ, the thing we talk about, Carly, a lot is, how many people do you feed? That's a common question that I get from our friends in the plane community a lot is, how many people do you feed? How many people are affected by the day-to-day operations of your business? And from that point, when you're the business leader, the owner, the CEO, whatever you are, you're determining people's livelihoods all the way down to your lowest level employee, to the brand new hire that you haven't even hired yet. You're going to affect their ability to earn and their ability to eat. And that's what most people want. They want a job where they can go and they can feel happy and safe, and they can make the money that they desire to make, and hopefully over time advance that position to make more money, which ultimately doesn't always lead to more happiness, but it certainly doesn't hurt. It does not hurt to make more money and be more talented. So I can tell you, this has been a really, really good conversation with you, Carly. I want to wrap it up, but I will tell you this. Give the audience a breakdown on what you do, how they can contact you, all of these things, and we'll probably have you back. I mean, I think you're a valuable enough guest that we can probably have you back maybe sometime next year and talk more. I think there's so much more that we can dive into. You're in a space that not a lot of people get to see when they're in the industry that I'm in. And I thought that your vision and your approach to things was very valuable to the people that listen to this podcast. But tell us, just in closing, where people can contact you, how we can get a hold of you, and what you can offer to our listeners.
Yeah, no, thank you. This was really inspiring. I have a feeling we could go on for a really long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
for
sure.
sure. So they could find me at westcoastgrowthadvisors.com. And yeah, so I work with business owners, and basically what we'll do is sometimes it's business owners, sometimes it's the executive team, but usually the owners like to get involved. And we'll dive into the vision of the company. We'll dive into the mission, vision, purpose. We'll make sure it's infused in there. Make sure you understand what it is. If you have a general understanding, we refine it, make sure we dive deeper there. And we make sure that there's all the strategies in place to get to the other side while focusing on the leadership qualities within ourselves, making sure we're doing this like personal development work to ensure that you are really living a fulfilling life. Like to me, business is a catalyst and a gift to give us the opportunity not to just get locked down in something and feel like a day-to-day grind, but to really create it in such a way that we can grind, feel inspired, and simultaneously like accomplish whatever else you have in yourself. Like, I don't know what that is. Every person is unique. So there's a heavy focus on the business and making sure it thrives and has cash flow, profitability, all that fun stuff. But then simultaneously, like we want to make sure that the people are really taken care of.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And I thought that was really, and I'm glad you said everything that you just said, because I wanted to jump on it if you didn't. It's not very often that you get a chance to talk to somebody that's from outside your industry specifically that can bring value to your business. And I'm sure that Carly would love to talk to you more about this. Like she said, westcoastgrowthadvisors.com. Check her out on LinkedIn. I'm sure she's just a
Mhm.
connection away. Feel free to reach out to me if you need contact information as well. But I would encourage you all to give Carly a shout. Connect with her on LinkedIn, reach out to her website, and really give yourself the opportunity to do better going into 2026. We're kind of on this mission now, to really start building towards having the best year you've ever had in 2026. And I know that some people had a really good 2025. Some people didn't have such a great 2025. If you're sitting back and you think, man, I could benefit from some more talking or some more information from what Carly had to share today, she's an open book. That's the best part about Carly that I can tell you, is that she's here to help you. And anybody
Mhm.
that's here to help you with your business, and is certainly a phone call or a LinkedIn connection away, feel free to do that, because I think it will benefit your business. Carly, do you have anything for us as we finish up?
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I would love to hear from
Absolutely.
people so they can reach out to me directly.
Absolutely.
But I really appreciate this. I think that this was an inspiring call.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I can tell you, get out in your community and do something special for somebody else that will make you feel better. Thank you to everybody who's been helping us out at the Steel Kings. Check out thesteelkings.com for all the up-to-date information from us. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Give us a subscribe, give us a like. We will be at you next week with another episode of the Steel Kings Podcast. I'm Jared, and this week is Carly. But we will see you next week, Eric and I, for another episode of the Steel Kings Podcast. We'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great week, guys. Peace out.
Before you go, the J Money team wants to thank you for listening to today's Steel Kings podcast. Remember, money is king, and if you need a financing option on your portable wood sheds or steel buildings, we are here to help. Just check us out at jmoneyllc.com for more information. And don't forget to catch the next episode of the Steel Kings podcast, and have a great day.